Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to creatively shape reverb with compression and volume automation. So let's listen to what I have right here. So you can hear that there's like a reverb swell after the plucks, and it kind of like pumps as well. And the way we're going to achieve this is we have our lead here. I'm going to turn off the reverb for now. And the lead sounds like this. So there's already a little bit of like reverb on there already. But what we're going to do is we're going to create a reverb send, which I have right here. And we're going to send those synths 100% to the reverb. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a very, very, very large reverb. So I'm using Valhalla. And you can see I have a 22-second decay time. So that's going to sound like this. Oops. Let me turn it on. Yeah, so it just sounds like a mess because there's just, too much reverb. But what we're going to do is we're going to sidechain the reverb to the synth that is going into the reverb. But how we're going to do this is we're actually going to create another layer that is doing the same thing as our lead synth. And that's right here. And it sounds like this. So it's the same melody as the lead synth, but it's just a simple, very short sine wave. And what this allows us to do is use this as a sidechain input. So I have it labeled as verb trigger, and I'm going to set up a sidechain on the reverb send that is going to be triggered by that little sine wave. I'm going to turn it off, so you're not actually going to hear the sine wave, but it's going to create the compression. And the reason why we sidechain it to something that's imitating the lead is that'll push the reverb away when the synth is playing, and then when the synth stops playing, it'll release the sidechain, and then it'll swell up, and it sounds like this. A lot of pops from my audio interface, but you get the idea. So, and you can see in the gain reduction is triggering as the lead synth is playing. I can show you that one more time. And you can see I have a pretty long release, and you'll just have to experiment with the time parameters, but let's play that again. Yeah, so the reason I'm using a different layer to create the sidechain input is I can make it a very short thing, like this very short sine wave. If I try to use the actual lead, it would be harder to get the time parameters correct because the lead already has reverb and delay on it. So it's just easier to use something that's like short and has no stereo information and no like delays or reverbs. Just gonna put this EQ on. So I'm just taking out the lows, boosting the highs. The next thing that I like to do is I like to sidechain it. So I'm just using LFO tool set at the quarter rate, and it's just creating the sidechain curve, and that sounds like this. So this is an effect that a lot of trance producers use. W&W used to do this a lot, and Mark Sixma and MaRLo does this. The other thing that you can do is you can use an LFO tool to kind of decrease the decay time. Instead of using the decay time on the actual reverb, because that kind of will change like the inherent character of the reverb, you can just, have a volume loop or a volume automation that just is pulling down on the reverb as it's coming. And the last thing I wanted to mention is when you're setting up this send, because the decay time is so long, it kind of is pretty annoying. So what you can do is press Control K, and then you can set the on-off switch of the reverb to something. I set it to my 1 on my keyboard. You just click on it, and you just hit the number or whatever key you want it to be, and then press Control K to get out of that. But now I can easily flick on and off the reverb. So when I'm playing, after I stop the playback, the reverb's still going on, but I can just cut it out with pressing 1. But yeah. Oh yeah, and if you did sidechain with a normal compressor, I would also recommend using something short. So I would use something that sounds something that sounds kind of like this. And that'll give you better control over the time parameters. But yeah, I hope that was interesting. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.